All right, with Aussie co-captain Kirstin Bull. Last year, Kirstin in Winschoten at the World Championships ran the Australian record time. Kirstin, can you just recap us a little bit about that race?
Yeah, hi Brendan. Look, last year was an amazing race. To break the Australian record was something I never planned to do, so everything just went right and I felt amazing on that race. So I'm hoping that's going to be the same case this weekend.
Yeah, so last year viewers might remember a video I posted, you explained a little bit about a training camp you did in Kenya. Before that, obviously got you in great shape. You haven't had the luxury of doing that again this year, but tell us a little bit about what you've done to try and replicate or even better the lead up this year.
Yeah, last year I was very fortunate that I could take long service leave from work, so I went to Kenya and trained in altitude. And this year, unfortunately, you don't get long service leave 2 years in a row. So it was a very different campaign this year. I was still working in Melbourne, and trying to fit in the training and work was a very different balance. I ran a lot more Ks this year than what I did last year,
Okay.
leading into the race,
Yep.
which is a real positive for me, for my body to be able to handle all the Ks that I was doing consistently week after week, as well as working full time.
Yeah.
I also got into an altitude chamber twice a week, which was kind of nice,
Okay.
away from the cold mornings of Melbourne
Yep.
weather.
Yep.
And I was in the gym a couple of times a week as well.
Cross
So,
training and
yeah, doing cross training, some plyometrics,
Yep.
and just overall strength training for running. So.
Oh, I mean that's an interesting point. A lot of runners they don't think about that being an important part of the training program. I know in my own coaching group, I have a strength only day and a cross training day. Is that something you've just started, or is it something you've always done throughout your career?
No, it's definitely something probably over the last year and a half. So I started it before I went to Kenya last year. I moved to St Kilda and I found a local gym, and the owner of the gym's a trainer, and his name's Lee, really good guy, and he's really adamant about how important strength is, and not just legs, all over body strength. So working upper body, core, and legs, of course.
Right.
And so I started doing that leading into Kenya training last year,
Yep.
and since I got back from there, obviously having such a good race, I really valued the training in the gym, and now I get in the gym 3 times a week.
Yeah, and it's an important point. As we get older, we have to focus a little bit more on our overall body. It's not as indestructible as it used to be.
Yeah, well, I actually, like I said, it's the most kilometres I've ever run these last probably 4 months in my life, and I haven't broken down, and I really put a lot of that to my strength work in the gym.
All right, so some viewers might be interested in just hearing some numbers about your training. Like, what kind of kilometres are we talking about on average?
Yeah, look, I did 2 peaks in my training campaign, so it was sort of an 18-week program, but 6 weeks of it was sort of lead-in weeks to build up to those 100+ weeks. And then I hit 200 kilometres for the week twice, and otherwise averaging anywhere between 150 to 180 kilometres.
Right, they're good miles, yeah, and that's the kind of stuff you do need to do to be at your level. You're obviously, a high performance athlete at this level of racing. Your goals for tomorrow, are you looking to improve on last year's time? And
definitely want to run a PB tomorrow.
Yep.
Love to break 7 hours 30. So the plan will be to go out at a consistent pace and try and run a negative split, so come home quite strong in the second half of the race, and obviously try and get on the podium.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful. I think you brought a lot of prestige to 100k racing last year when you broke the Australian record. A lot of awareness too, and I think you've got it in you, Kirstin. I think you're a very determined runner. It'd be great to see. How do you see the women's field tomorrow? Do you see it as deep as last year's?
To be honest, last year I didn't even look at the field. Being my first international 100k, I just was out there to run and to see what I could do. So to finish 8th last year, I was absolutely stoked. This year I've probably taken a little bit more interest in it, given that I finished in the top 10 last year. And I know that the US runner who won last year, she's not racing, unfortunately.
No,
she got
Camille.
injured.
Yeah,
Camille. So she messaged me last week to say, unfortunately, she pulled out, which is, you know, it's a shame for her because she's a top runner.
Yeah.
But you know, she's a great team sportsman or woman, because she actually said, look, it gives you a shot for, you know, closer to getting on the podium.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
You know, it's really nice to hear that. So, you know, anything can happen on the day. It's a long race. So I'm just going to go out there and run my own run and.
So traditionally, what does a sub 7:30 get you? You know, in a world championship.
Previous results, definitely looking top 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
So that's exciting.
Fantastic. Well, we don't want to harp on that too much, but you know, obviously you're running as a team as well. Your Australian teammates Tia and Marita, they're going to be solid tomorrow. And
yeah, definitely. And look, I think if we all have a great race, the 3 of us, I think we've definitely got a chance as a team medal, and that's really exciting for Australia and Australian running for women.
Yeah.
And yeah, to have two teammates out there with you, so when you're going through the tough times, you know they're probably going through the tough times, and you're just out there doing it as a team. So it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, great. And what's in store after this for you, Kirstin? You enjoy a little bit of trail running, like down in Victoria. You've dominated 2 bays. You're probably not going to do that next year. But what are your goals? Being that there's no, you know, the 100Ks are going to every 2 years from this year onwards. So what will be 2017 about?
Look, I reassess each year, you know, just before the start of the new year. So after this race, I'll be put my feet up for a little bit.
Think about it then.
Have a bit of break, think about it. I definitely want to go and revisit the marathon again and get a, you know, a 2:40 something marathon. That's definitely something I want to do. But I think it's a good thing, the 100K going to every second year. I think it really gives people that time to really train hard and really, you know, think about 2-year campaign to head towards the next championship.
Well, you have represented Australia at trail running twice, I think. Yes.
Yep.
Once I was on the same team as you. And,
yeah, they're both in Wales, did 2 different courses. And I'd never say no to trail running again as well. I love trail running. I think the thing with trail running is it's just you living in Melbourne, you've got to really find the time to get out onto the trails and in comparison to road running, that's, you know, out the back door. But I definitely would have another look at trail running as well.
Yeah. Look, I think Kelly Emerson showed this year that you can still compete in the world stage, even though, you know, Australia is a very flat country compared to a lot of the European style courses. So well, that'll be great. All right, well, Kirstin, wish you all the best tomorrow.
Thank you.
And I know you'll do the country and all your fans and followers back home very proud. So looking forward to see how you go.
Thanks, Brendan.
Bye.
See ya.